This is Gaelynn Lea, and I am very honored and excited to welcome my special guest for today, Bob Boylan.
Hey, Galen, this is
Hey,
cool.
yeah, I'm pumped to be here, and thanks to everybody who's tuning in, Tina and Chris and Kathy, and everybody else who's joining as we get started. So I'm very excited that Bob wanted to do this show with me because he is a hugely important person in my life. Because he is the host of the Tiny Desk concerts, and he was one of the people that made the Tiny Desk contest happen and changed our world a lot. So, Bob, do you want to say anything about like what you do in addition, or you do a lot of different things?
I do. I've worked at NPR now for almost 32 years. And one of the two of the things that I do is All Songs Considered, which is 20 plus years old now. It's a
Yeah, is it
sh-
really?
yeah, we started in January of 2000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very early, and then started podcasting in 2005. Weekly music show for those who don't know. Try to feature new artists, unknown talents, and then some favorites. And then in 2008, we started the Tiny Desk concert series, which are concerts that happen at my desk at NPR. And then in 15, we started a contest trying to get the people across this country who are so talented, who are unknowns, to be able to take this stage, so to speak, behind my desk. And you were the winner in 2016. And that's how
Wow.
we met. And that
What a
was
weird surprise. That was the biggest right turn my life ever took after that. It was cool though. And so I got to meet Bob then, obviously. We went out to DC and then we did four different shows across the country. And you were at all of them, weren't you?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Some of the crew wasn't at every single one, but Bob was.
yeah.
And so I got to know him, and he is awesome. And the more you learn, you realize, besides promoting other people's work, I don't know if you know this, Bob, but at a festival in Montana, I met Lucy Dacus. Is that how you actually say it?
Yes.
And she's like, "Don't you kind of feel like Bob's like Gandalf or your dad or something?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I think that you have that vibe for a lot of us musicians
Awesome.
who you've helped out over the years getting the word out. But you do a lot of your own creating, and I think I'm really excited that you're here today because I don't know how often you get to talk about that on the air, but might as well do it here, right?
I never talk about my music actually, and so this is kind of thrilling for me. It's the tables turned,
Yeah, like
uh,
a lot. Yep.
which is great. But I've been making music since 1979, and the first band I had was called Tiny Desk Unit, and hence the name eventually of a concert series. Which who
Yep.
knew that was going to happen? 35
Yeah.
years, 38 years later. And I make music with my friends. Michael Barron is the guitar player for Tiny Desk Unit back in the day, and we have been making music as a band called Danger Painters since 2008. We've put out 16 albums and a couple of EPs. We have put out 3 albums this year.
I can't even believe that. It's not even the end of the year yet. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, we may have another.
Oh my gosh.
So we started doing this thing, which is it's the thing called the RPM challenge, and different art, forms of art have these sort of things. Make a movie in a day, or write an essay in a day. But this is a make an album in a month, and we started doing that in 2008,
Oh
the month
really?
of February.
Okay.
We do it long distance, file sharing back and forth, and so that we were used to making that kind of music. When this pandemic came along, we were, a good 12 years into doing this sort of music making. And so it was a natural thing. We did the February RPM challenge, put out an album in April because everybody was home. This little organization called the RPM challenge did an April challenge. So we made a record for that,
Oh
and we
cool.
didn't feel done. So we made another.
That's so cool. And then you did one on your own too, right? You
I
did your
did.
solo music?
I did a covers record. My second one, the first one was called Undercovers, and the new one is called Further Undercovers.
Sweet.
So it's I'm not going to shows now, which is usually how I spend my evenings. So at night when I sort of flip the switch from work to music making, and I do it in this very same chair, all my work all day long, and then since I'm not going to the office, and then make music in front of this very same computer with some of the gear you see back there behind me.
That's so cool. So I was gonna say you went to like 500 shows a year,
I
right?
did,
I
and
mean, so
roughly 500 bands, so maybe 2 bands in an evening would count as, So,
okay, but
but
still, that's like,
most nights.
oh my gosh. So that means that you just have like a ton of weirdly open time that you never would have had.
Yeah, and I'm not a TV watcher or a movie watcher, so I like making things.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So Tina asks, what kind of music do you make, Bob? And like, you might want to play a sample, or do you want to explain first?
Uh, you know, I think that I've been steeped in sort of a psychedelic rock music for Tiny Desk Unit and Danger Painters. Um, I use electronics to make my music and some guitar. And I think it's best maybe if I play a song from our recent 16th album. And how's that?
Recent 16th album. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people do that. I think it's neat that you're collaborating. I wonder if that makes the process more fluid in a way. Because if I was sitting down to write 16 albums, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
lot.
absolutely. If Michael Barron sends me a guitar piece, it's like instant. I like reacting to something,
Yeah,
and maybe I'll talk about that a little more later. Why don't I
yeah.
play a little music, and we'll come back and talk about how I do this. And I'll make sure I get the technology right. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Oh, yeah.
do share my screen and put on my audio, and I'm gonna play you a song called "Out of Orbi,"
Hmm.
is the name of the tune. So
Cool.
here we go. Share audio button, and
I know, it's like,
here
oh, gotta make sure we got it right.
here we go.
Cool, here we go. Um,
On moving sidewalks, they're still as the arcers, with everything, just everything you need. Sky blue eyes, I see traffic signs to everywhere, just everywhere we used to go. You checked the right box, right? You went to detox, right? You make paper birds until the sun sets on everything you know. In an overgrown passage with shady ticket takers, showing everyone, yeah, everyone, just where they're gonna sit and keep still. Behind low fences, the meds lean so hard on everything, just everything, and I plead. I checked the right box, right? I did the detox, right? I made those damn paper birds till my fingers cried. And I don't know why, and I don't know why. I just can't remember. I just can't remember. I just can't remember. Heal me now, please comfort me. Don't fail me now, please come for me.
So I don't hear you. Should I be hearing you? Okay,
Yes,
there
you
we go.
should.
I do.
Sorry. I muted myself in case I like coughed in the middle of your song. That would have been bad. So that's got like a, I don't know, is it Leonard Cohen?
Well,
What is the vibe? What do you think? What are the influences?
yeah, there's 50 years of influences going on here. Um,
Yeah, me
Kevin
too.
is our singer, and I think he'd be if he's out there, he'd be complimented by the Leonard Cohen. He's really a. I mean, one of the reasons I love making these music videos with the lyrics is that I think he's an amazing poet,
He is, yeah.
and he used to be a singer back in the day. We're all part of this DC scene around the just before the 930 Club opened in the late 70s, and then we were all very much a part of the old 930 Club. Kevin was in a band called Rhoda and the Bad Seeds, and we were friends back then. So it's really fun. The bass player, Bill Harvey, also was a music maker and artist back in the day.
Yeah.
So we're all sort of, I don't know, our hearts are in this place that started 40 years ago, but I don't think I think our music is more advanced and different than what we made back then. But
Yeah.
I think we're making our best music now, so that's kind of cool.
No, that is good. I mean, you can tell there's just a lot of different influences, and the lyrics were really, yeah, they're really neat. I like the lyric videos because sometimes you miss that piece of it the first
Yeah.
time you listen to a song. And to me, that's what I love about songs is the lyrics. So
I mean, I definitely, and your song, the contest winning song, was grabbed me for its words. I do latch on to words first, and if the words are sort of trite,
I know.
I will generally dismiss and not listen to the rest of the song.
I know I feel so bad about that, but there's some songs where I just cannot get past when the lyrics are bad. It's like, well, game over. I'm sorry. I try to be a little more open-minded now because I have a friend that is really into pop music, and I was like, explain this to me because the lyrics are what usually end up killing it for me.
Yeah.
And but she did, and so I'm trying to be a little more open-minded about like listening to the instrumentation too. But it really is hard for me to get into music that I don't jive with the lyrics.
I'm there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you made that music video too, right?
Made the music video. I made 10 songs on that record.
Oh my
I
gosh.
made a music video for every song.
What? Oh my
And
goodness. That's awesome. You're like the most productive person during quarantine that ever existed.
yeah, I've made 4 albums this year, 3 with Danger Painters and 1 solo. And a couple of weeks ago started on another. We'll see where it goes.
That is so cool. So when you have a little demonstration, because people, I mean, because you're not the lead singer. So what were
Right.
you doing on that track? Do you want to demonstrate?
Yeah, let me
the
do this.
video?
I'm one of these people that just give me a little of something and I can run. Like in
Yeah.
my head, I don't like some people hear music in their head. I admire that, but I can't do that. So I don't approach music with something like, oh, I know, I just got to execute this idea. I start with a blank slate. Lately, I've been playing with this thing called Orb Composer, which is why the name of the song is out of Orby, is how it started. Orb Composer is an artificial intelligence program that helps generate melodies. You put in parameters, and then it generates something. So let me play you this little thing and see how this works. This is to give you an idea how the tune started out.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Share audio. So you're basically going to be looking at, I use Logic, which is a program to make music, and I've been using that since it started. So here's a screen of my Logic file, and this will be about a minute long here. guitar. Oops. So this is the original melodies that I started with, 2 little piano melodies. And then I added these guitars. So,
That's so cool.
and then, like, I sent that off to the band,
Yep.
and then Michael and Kevin added their parts. This is all over the course of, maybe a week. And so let me play you a little demo so you can hear just like Michael's guitar in this.
So you're like starting it off on this song, and then they're building on what you send them.
Right, but that's not true of all the songs. I
Yeah.
mean, not more often than not, but yeah, maybe more often than not. He's incredibly prolific and will send the original ideas. I thought I'd choose a couple of tunes where I was the starter of, but
Which is cool. Yeah.
they're all, clear collaborations. So
yeah.
let's do this. And here we go. So this is the file with Michael's guitars. There's 2 of them. Here they come. And now Kevin's vocals.
The lousy hawkers
There's 3 of them.
with everything, just everything you need. In sky blue eyes, I see traffic signs to everywhere, just everywhere we used to go.
I wonder why I'm not being shown. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I sure do hear you. I'll just speak until
That is
you return.
weird. Let me see on the settings. We can talk, I guess. I'm just gonna check my camera. I don't know
Okay,
why.
I'll fill the time because I'm used to
Yeah, I
doing
know.
that.
What the heck? Okay, wrong camera. Let's see if this one works. Okay, there I'm back. I
Yeah,
think,
there
right?
you are. Yep, indeed.
That's really weird. I guess maybe my computer was like, "There's too much going on." So that's what recording is actually like. Like I don't know how many people have worked with recording software who are watching, but you can really build. It's like putting a puzzle together, kind of, and like
Yep.
placing everything.
Or sculpture is another way of looking at it, which is
Yeah.
the way I think about it in many ways. When I say I need something sort of tangible to get started, it's like, give me a piece of clay and a picture of a horse. Okay, I'll start.
Now I can go.
Right,
Yeah.
now I can start.
Well, actually, remember you did some static noises on my last album
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was telling you I want a radio, like a fuzzy radio sound, and you're like, "Well, can I try it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so then we could kind of go back and forth and be like, "Okay, not like that radio sound, but this one's a little better." I used to hate recording. I don't know if you knew that, but
No.
the first time I did an album, I thought I was having a heart attack, and I called my psychologist, and I was like, "I think I'm dying," and she's like, "Just get done with the session, and if you still feel that way, then go to the hospital." But I was fine because I was so nervous because I thought it had to be perfect. But the more I've done it, you realize that like it sort of becomes this thing that you're building, and it's a moment in time. So you're kind of like layering. It is like a sculpture or a mosaic or something, and you're layering these pieces on, and it doesn't have to be like the one perfect thing that you ever did. You know what I mean? It's like a snapshot in time. And now that I see it that way, I really enjoy recording a lot, actually. But I needed to switch mindsets.
Yeah, perfection is what the heck is it anyway? So
Yeah,
let's
no
start
kidding.
there.
There's no such thing.
Right, and then I like to just go down paths that I don't know that I was gonna go down, and I like being surprised by what happens. And people can say, "Oh, computers," and it's boom, boom, it's very lockstep, but feel like I've had a relationship with music and computers. I've been making music with computers since 1981, and
Born.
and I find that there are surprises both in bugs that happen or things that why did it make that sound, that take you down paths if you aren't locked into a certain idea, that if you're willing to travel in the ways that the back and forth happens between you and machine, that are exciting. And
Yeah.
I don't have, my imagination is expanded by working with computers.
Well, that and like, I don't think you can make 4 albums in a year if you're doing analog, like cutting tapes up and editing that way. Like, I mean, I have a friend who has been a recording engineer for many, many, many years, and he would explain how they used to literally have to splice tapes to edit stuff out, or it just like, sounded like a laborious process that I don't think many people would have access to. Like, I would not be able to afford to pay somebody to do that for me,
Yeah.
but I can record in my apartment, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the
So,
first Tiny Desk Unit records were made in a 24-track studio, and it cost a bunch of money.
yeah,
Now I can sit right in this, bedroom studio
yep,
and make music. And like I said, I've been working with music and computers for a long, long time,
no, that's so
and
cool.
it's really thrilling thing to do. And
Yeah,
some people like yourself have a skill and a craft. I Though I play guitars, I'm not very good, but I can take things and ideas and expand upon them with the tools of computers
yeah.
that I don't think sound mechanized at all.
No, they don't, and it's a different form of arts. I think recording and performing are a little different areas of the same art field, and I always really gravitated towards live performance. But
Yeah.
you performed live a lot, though, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I mean, I used to perform both this Tiny Desk Unit and Danger Painters. Has only played out about 5 times because we're spread all over the country. But I also did, solo performances, and I did solo performances with computers back in
So yeah,
1986.
so you could do that live. That's
Yeah.
really neat. I didn't realize. Did you ever do like the Moog or the Moog or whatever you call it?
I was an ARP guy. If people want to get specific,
I
they're
don't
two
know.
different. I mean, there are two. Well, there are a bunch of different synthesizer companies, but ARP was the one I liked. But there was an instrument called the synclavier that I would use for composition for when I was with the theater company for a long time, composing music for live theater, and it was very cool.
Yeah. Oh,
love
dang.
it.
Let's hear another song. What is this one that you have for Danger Painters?
This one's called "Taste of Water," and it's another Danger Painter song. And again, the piano-based melody again was had its start with that Orb Composer program. And I'll just say one thing: as you watch the video, I'm very much been into macro photography since this. We can talk about that later. Since the pandemic, where I go out and take pictures of flowers really close up, and I use those flowers as the basis for these videos. So
Cool.
let's do "Taste of Water." And oops, I think I needed to do this button first.
I know it's always a little bit scary to get
Yeah,
into
there's about
something
6 steps you have to do to share
know.
your screen here.
a
So
little annoying,
it,
but
it's
somebody
good.
asks me, is there anyone in particular that you would like to collaborate with, Bob?
I will think about that as I play the song.
Good. Cool.
Okay.
We've come on white flowers, long and forever. We listen to beaches in their tan and sandy silence. your spines face the sea. Are we red as the sun? Are we bleached as a shell? Is that the smell of water that I taste, that I hear, that I fear, going under? Dark as coffee grounds, as brown as your eyes, or that kid near the shore. We're swathed in heat, we bathe in ozone. We're swathed in heat, we bathe in ozone. My shadow, the same color as your own. My shadow, the same color as your own.
You're muted. So that was we had a guest cellist on that song, which was sort of sweet. We'd never
Cool.
done that before.
And then was that like the video? Was that the inside of a flower?
It was a close up of a gee, I'm trying to remember what the flower was. I think it was a lily pot, not a lily, but someone out in the audience will correct me, I'm sure. The one thing I was hoping to do as I take pictures of flowers is learn them, but
Yeah,
I
it's
have
hard.
not been so good at doing that, and
Nope.
the Latin names also throw me. So, but I use another program that does artificial intelligence for video, and it's called synesthesia. So it listens to the music, and you can make it react in different ways to the music.
Cool.
I can map certain parameters of the like color changes or it's shifting one way or another onto my MIDI keyboard, and I can turn dials like playing a synthesizer as the song is playing. So I'm in real time altering the image to what I hear in the music.
Dang, that's
So
so fun.
it
Oh my
is really
gosh.
cool. Yeah.
Dang.
Synesthesia is the name of the program.
Okay, well, I have a Chromebook, so chances are probably not going to happen. But maybe eventually. I am trying to learn new technology. If anything that this quarantine has been good for, it's realizing that you don't know. There's a lot you don't know about technology, and it's important to do what you can to kind of figure it out. You know.
And a fun creative thing to do. I mean, both those programs I didn't know before February, and
Yeah.
I've started playing with them. So the Orb Composer and the Synesthesia.
Dang. Cool. Well, February was. I don't know if that was we got locked down. I think March 13th was
Yep.
the day that we finally got home from
6 months ago today, right? Or
my
7
God.
months? Is it 7 months?
Six, I think. Well,
Yeah,
wait, let me think.
6 months. Yeah,
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah.
But it like went by so fast. Part of it, the show has been a fun way to kind of chronicle. If you look at the videos on the playlist, it's like worst quality ever known to man because I didn't know what I was doing, and then kind of chronicling this learning curve. It's been really fun to do. So I really want to make sure we get time for that last track because this is a solo number that you have, right?
Yeah, I started making a solo record a couple of years ago, and one of the songs that I made sounded like an old Carole King song, and I didn't. That's just like not normally what would come out of me.
Yeah.
And then I started to listen to. Anyway, so I tried to remake this Carole King song, and I started going down this road of doing cover tunes,
That's cool.
and so I'd pick a favorite song and say, okay, so how do I do that? And so I am going to play a little bit because I think we're running long here, but I'll play. You tell me.
No, we're actually okay. Is it
Okay.
only like 5 minutes ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're fine.
So I will play a little bit of. I'll play my version of Hank Williams. I'm so lonesome I could cry. In this case, the video is a time lapse
Yeah,
of
that's
the
so cool.
nighttime with a fisheye lens out my apartment window.
That is so neat. You'll have to watch the moon. That's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah, yeah.
For this one.
You'll see the movement of the moon. Here we go.
Cool. Cool. I really liked that one a lot. That was
Thanks.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, the video with the well, first of all, I'm obsessed with the moon. That's one thing that's happened over quarantine is I've
Oh,
gone out. We live on Lake Superior in this apartment complex that happens to be really close to the lake, and the moon rises right over Lake Superior about once a month. I mean, it's not every night, but
mm.
when it does and it's clear, it's just like the most gorgeous thing. So I love that video for that reason, but also the concept of lonesome and then the lights are turning off more and more, and it's a really cool combo.
Thank you.
And people on the chat are really enjoyed that one too, by the way, just so you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. And then um, the ambience, but having a melody to kind of come back to is nice because although I love ambient music, without any melody at all, you can kind of wander so far that you kind of lose track. I think it's really cool how you kept the melody in there, but it wasn't the only thing you're paying attention to.
And that's the sort of thing that working and doing these albums, they're all ambient.
Yeah,
By ambient, I think of it as something that could be both foreground and background,
yeah,
depending on what you want at the moment. And so I'm not going to sing like Hank Williams, but I can make something that is evocative,
yeah.
and that's to me the key.
Cool. Is the next album you're working on a cover album or is it original?
I'm going to do an original record, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
So far, I've only got one idea.
Well, that's about where I'm at right now. I'm hoping to do another album before quarantine is over, but I'm working on a book too, so I'm letting myself make the book top priority so that I don't stress out about the album. It'll
and
come when it
and
comes.
the record you just put out is called.
It's called the Living Room Sessions, Gaelynn Lea Live, and they're actually tracks from these shows. I love the improvising. I'm gonna do one of these at the end of this show, and some of the improvisations end up really like sticking with me, and so eventually I'd like to kind of flesh them out and add kind of what you did, send them out to people. So improvise, but then send them out and say, this is what I was thinking of when I played it. Now go ahead and add what you see as like complementing it.
Well, you make sure you send me one because
Oh,
I
I
want to
definitely
at
will.
least.
Yes. Oh, I know. I had a friend do a dragon and fairy one, and he said he was making ice crystal bugs, and that's like what he was picturing. It's just cool to hear like the visual connected with
Yeah.
the audio. It's really fun. So, I'm excited for your next album. If you need a fiddle, let me know. Otherwise,
Oh, cool.
just
That's a good.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
like that.
Keep doing it. I can't believe 4 albums. You have the most productive guy in quarantine award for me, anyways. That's so cool. So, do you have any other plans in the near future before we say goodbye?
Well, I mean, my day job keeps me pretty busy. We're doing Tiny Desk home concerts these days, and we're putting up 3 and 4 a week of
Yeah.
those. And All Songs Considered goes up online every week. So that's sort of my day to day. I'm in the apartment from you saw from that window view. That's sort of where everything I do is, and
Yeah.
but I feel fortunate to be able to create and have such talented people to work with. And
Yeah.
someone the question earlier about who you want to collaborate
Mhm.
with.
Yeah.
There's a group called Big Thief I really love, and my music that I make feels like it would be a fit with them. So and their poetry is beautiful, and all their instruments are they're great players. And so that's somebody. And yes, to I saw in the chat the influence not only of Leonard Cohen, but Kevin is a huge fan of Lou Reed. So
Yeah. Hope to relay that information to him. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Bob. This means a lot that you were willing to join me today.
I love this.
Yay.
I will stay tuned and when I'm sitting at home on a Sunday. And you archive these, right?
Oh
So
yeah, there's a playlist. I'll make sure to try to share that link after this is done, because yeah, there's a playlist of all. There's 30 shows up there now, and I'm planning to do it through September. So I have special guests lined up through April now, and I'm planning
through
to keep
September of
doing it.
next year, not
Yeah.
through this
Yep. Oh
September.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Through
yeah, yeah.
September of 2021, because I feel like I probably won't be planning a tour till October, because it takes about 6 months lead time
Yeah.
to get a tour lined up. And last time I had to just cancel it last minute, and it was very disappointing. So I want to wait till I know the chance of it happening are
Yeah.
high. So, but I'm gonna do this and write and get to know other people's music. I think it's a really fun way to do that. So now I know yours.
Yeah, well, I know what I love what you're doing with your time. You're such a talented soul, and I miss and I hope look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, miss you. See you soon.
Be
And
well.
thank
Say
you
hi to
so
Paul.
much
Yeah.
for being here. Yes, I will say hi to Paul. He
Take care.
he says hi back. See you
Oh,
later.
all right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye
Yep.
bye.
Take care. Oh, that was so fun to have him. Hello everyone. Tina says want to hear a joke, and actually, sure, because I'm gonna get set up. So while we're getting set up, or while I'm getting set up, you can tell a joke, Tina. Thank you for listening, you guys. Here we go. I'm gonna play a couple tunes. Oh yeah, the mic can come around, I suppose. I gotta raise it up quite a bit. There we go. Hello again, everybody. Thank you so much, Bob. I'm so glad that he came and was a part of this show. It really means a lot, and I can't wait for all the special guests. I have so many lined up for you, and I think it's gonna be a fun way to do these shows for the rest of the year, just to kind of give some variety and new introductions to new music. As I said earlier at the beginning, any tips that you donate will be split with Bob, and please support his music, bobboilen.bandcamp.com, and Bob Boylan, or no, dangerpainters.bandcamp.com. And I'm going to play you some music. So I thought I would do, in honor of Bob, the song that I entered into the Tiny Desk first. It's called Someday We'll Linger in the Sun. I haven't done it in a few weeks. Oh, but first, how many dance teachers does it take to change a light bulb? This is from Tina. I'm curious how many it is. I don't know how many. Let's see. Dun 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 dun. She's typing, I think. Here, I'll get set up. I might have to wait till the end of the song to hear that one. I'm excited that she has a joke for us. That was a good transition. So here we go. This is Someday We'll Linger in the Sun. never know which way was right. Now side by side we face the night, and I love you. And I love you. We walked the pier and back again. It was the most scared I've ever been. You held my hand until the end, and I love you. And I love you. Don't tell me we've got time. The subtle thief of life, it slips away when we pay no mind. We pull the weeds out till the dawn, nearly too tired to carry on. Someday we'll linger in the sun, and I love you. And I love you. Cool. Thank you for listening. Of course, I had to cough. That's the worst thing about being a singer is when you have to cough. So, that is Someday Will Linger in the Sun. That's an original song that I wrote. And it was fun to play it for Bob in honor of Bob for joining me today. I wanted to do a tune really the Tiny Desk contest obviously changed my life, like very, very much in a positive way, in so many ways, but I can't imagine even being able to do disability advocacy. If you check out my calendar this week, I have 7 gigs, but 2 of them are panel discussions on disability in the arts. With like one is with Recording Academy and one is with women in music, and I think it's really cool to be able to talk about this stuff more in mainstream. And without Tiny Desk, that would not be the case. So grateful for that for sure. I'm going to do a couple more tunes, but I want to say now this is the time to suggest an improvisational prompt because I really want to do one at the end of the show. And so please think of an improvisational prompt that you want me to play. So here we go. Okay, so I am going to play the. I'm going to try. I'm going to play The Long Way Around, and then if you want to, I'm going to have you vote. I'm going to try to loop a song that I have not looped before. It's one of mine, but I usually play with the guitarist, and I think it could work. But it's sort of a guinea pig time, so first I'm going to play The Long Way Around, and if you want a guinea pig song, feel free, or suggest some improvisational pieces, and I will do those, and then I have one more tune to end on after that. So I'll let you kind of vote on the guinea pig song or an improvisational prompt. So this is The Long Way Around. Cool, thank you. Ooh, I already got a good one from Bob. Play a song imagining the moon over the lake. Okay, I think that'll be my improvisational song because I love it because I love the moon so much. Um, but I will work in some fall for you, Bartek. So here we go. The harvest moon, right? That's what it'll be. So here we go. When two souls meet and the whole world feels new, shared moments sweet, all colors bright and true, and there is laughter, and there are good things growing everywhere. And I'm happy to be in this place with you. And I'm happy to be in this place. You let it out. You laid it all across the table. What's this all about? And you're making me unstable, and I don't wanna go down this road with you. No, I don't want to go down this road. I want to go, but I can't, and I won't. I'll learn to sew up the wounds that I broke open with you, 'cause I knew and I chose, and I don't feel at home in this world anymore. No, I don't feel at home in this world. winds. If there is flight without a landing, and we learn to keep our hearts in time, try not to burn the careful ties that bind us together. And I'm taking the long way around with you. And I'm taking the long way around. And I'm happy to be in this place with you. And I'm taking the long way around. Yay, thank you so much for listening. This song is that song, The Long Way Around, I released last fall already. And that was sort of one of those where Bob and I were talking about sculptures. I recorded it completely solo so that it sounded a lot like what you hear now, but then I sent it to some trusted friends. Alan Sparhawk's on that track. Charlie Parr is on that track. My good friend Dave Mailing is on that track. His great friend Jason McGlone put some stuff in, and then I sent it over to Tucker Martine, who used to produce for the Decemberists, and he's done a lot of other great stuff. And he and I mixed it together, and so did Jake Larson. It was a really big collaboration. And at the end, it was just like something that I would not be able to do by myself, even though I love that song pared down. I think it's even cooler when you can compose additions to it that just bring out the words. So that was fun. So, anyways, I am going to do an improvisation now, and then if we have time, I'll do one more piece at the end. I decided the guinea pig song, I'm going to wait till next week because I'm going to practice it a little bit more. It is called Dark to Light and Dark Again. It's one of the ones that's on my album from 2018, but I've never looped it, and I think that I could. The thing about looping is that you have to do a set chord structure, and a lot of my songs have different length verses or they have a bridge, and so the melody underneath can't conflict too badly with the words. But I think I've been thinking about how I could do it, and I think I have a plan, but I'm going to save that for next week. And right now, I'm going to do an improvisation. So thank you so much for listening. This is Harvest Moon on the Water. So here we go. Let me clear my loop. It's really nice to see you guys, by the way. I'm so glad that this show worked out. Okay. Trying to think how I want to start it. Here we go. I think I got it. Here we go. Okay, there you go. Um, that is a moon rising over the water. The first part with all the longer lower notes, that's the waves of the water. And then when you got into the higher piece, that's the moon as it rises higher and higher. And then the boom, 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 the bouncing around was the stars starting to pop out. If that makes any sense to you. That is what I was picturing while I was playing it. So um, I really appreciate you being here with me today. I think I'm going to call it quits now, but I have two songs that I didn't get to this week that I plan to do next week for you. So I will be here next Sunday. I have another special guest. Oh, goodness. I have to look it up. I don't want to give you the wrong name. I have a lot of them booked for the next few months. So there will be another special guest with me. I will announce that person soon. But now I just want to say thank you to Bob Boylan for making time to do this show. This was so fun, and it's so great to catch up with him. I miss him a lot. It's been weird not seeing him for the last year because usually we'd bump into each other here and there. So grateful that he could come. Thank you that you could listen. And please keep in touch. Come next week. Leave a tip if you can. Buy some of Bob's music. Um, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Mwah. See you next week. Thank you so very much. Bye, you guys. Oh, we'll see. This is the part that we've all been waiting for where I get really close to the camera, I think. Okay. Bye, everyone.